Okay, in this problem we're asked to calculate the unknown value of R in the circuit shown below. So in order to do this, we're going to have to use Kirchoff's rules. And the reason for that is that the EMF sources prevent us from treating the resistors as being in parallel. So let me define a couple of different currents. I'm going to call this one I1, this one I2. Once I've defined those currents, I can make a relationship between I1 and I2. If I look at the diagram, I see that I2 is equal to 1.77 plus I1, or it's 1.77 amps in the upper branch of the circuit. So this is the junction equation. So now let's take a look at making some loops. We can make a loop in the lower part of the circuit. And when I do that, I can come up with an equation. So I'm going to start in the lower right-hand corner here. I know that minus I2 times the unknown R, and go around the loop, minus I1 times 5. I go through the EMF, quote-unquote, backwards, so minus 5 volts, is equal to 0. So there's one equation. I can make another equation by making another loop. So we go all the way around outside. Again, starting in the lower right-hand corner. And minus I2R is my first voltage drop, and I go around to the top. And I drop by 1.77 times 10. And I go up 20 volts. And of course, the closed loop is equal to 0. Okay, now that I have these three equations, I can solve for the three unknowns, I1, I2, and R. In this case, probably the easiest way to proceed is to go ahead and just subtract the orange equation, this last equation here, from the blue equation, the one right above it. Let's go ahead and proceed to do that. When I do that subtraction, the I2R terms cancel. I'm left with minus I1 times 5 minus 5 plus 17.7 minus 20 is equal to 0. From this equation, I can solve for I1. I find that I1 is minus 1.46 amps. So that's given me part of what I need to know. I can then use the top equation, I2 is equal to 1.77 plus I1, so minus 1.46. That shows that I2 is equal to 0.31 amps. Once I know I2, I can substitute back in order to solve for R, namely, on the last equation, minus 0.31 amps for I2 times the unknown R, minus 17.7 plus 20 is equal to 0. I can go ahead and solve this equation, and when I do that, I find that the value for R is equal to a value of 7.42 ohms.